The irreverently honorable, unintentional, social shifting, and justifiably ridiculous legend of the adventure punk.
Earlier the same Sunday night, at Robbie Rock's little heavy metal apartment, on 2nd and Church. For a few weeks now, Rock has allowed Spaz and J-Mac to squat at his pad.
Spaz. Casting, African-American male, actor. He has selected the bathrobe as his signature wear, often fashioning its belt as a necktie. His name tag should say all you need to know about his seemingly unrestrained personality.
J-Mac. Casting, Euro-American male. A pretty boy bunk. Rebelled himself right out of his parents' home. Thus, beneath this cry. As a child, he spoke in an almost falsetto tonnage, but grew up to have an especially baritone sound. So as his voice changes, he squeaks and squeals between the two, and practically yodels through every statement he utters.
A few new Hanover High kids, who the other students consider alternative, meet at the Tiny Dig. There's J-Mac's gal, Julie Mac. With others, Davin, States, and Durr.
Julie Mac. Casting, Euro-American female. A pretty girl punk. They call her Julie Mac. Not for the balance to J, but it's short for McDonald. She's rumored to be the daughter of one of the original Ronald McDonald.
Davin. Casting, Irish-American male. The sweet punk. A tall, slim, gentle boy, with a kind smile, and a towering red mohawk to match his length. Though uber punk in appearance, he's not at all what you expect. He's actually, well, a dear boy. Probably a lot more mindful than an uber punk should ever be.
Dave. Casting, Euro-American male. The vicious little nugget of a non-racist skinhead. He's like the community bulldog. When you need someone, how can we say, dealt with? He's the little man for the job.
Durr. Casting, Euro-American female. That's short for Durrani. Students derive her name tag from a previous fascination with the band, Duran Duran. But the successful emulation of their image conveys that she is far more artist-costumer than your average fan. Though in her bedroom enshrined to the band, she dabbles in their music as well.
Unrelated fact. Her friends also know Durr to be the kitty cat whisperer. There's a particularly authentic sound she makes that is somewhere between a meow and a kitten's rattling purr, something like meow, but not quite. At any rate, this sound permeates the very soul in any cat of her choosing. Even the most feral, unsocialized, or unfriendly cat could be in a mad dash away from her approach. It will hear her meow and stop in its tracks, then pace to and fro in her path, enticing her to come have a petting. A person familiar with, but doesn't know the full extent of these powers, might be impressed by this alone. But then she does it again. Meow. And the cat suddenly plops onto its back, opening its rarely exposed, vulnerable tummy to her. And again. Meow. Causing the kitty to gleefully swat its little paws in the air, before she even arrives, as if to play patty cake with the sound itself. But no lie, they've seen her do it.
Anyway, unrelated, but gives you deeper insight into the magical girl that is Durr. Okay, let's take it back. Day. Friday before this current Sunday, early mid-1980s. Location. New Hanover High School, Wilmington, North Carolina. Setting. Hardship Student Snack Bar, 12th and Princess Street. And time. Lunch period. The alternative students are walking to return from lunch. Two sour-minded beach boys insult the group. Freaks! Yeah, freaks! Thereafter, they hit Durr in the nose and break it. Tee-hee!
A day passes.
And the group is still unsettled. So they get their bulldog and assemble at Rock's to strategize their next move.
J-Mac hasn't had school attendance since he made himself homeless about a month prior. Hence, he just maintains his usual, disinterested, humble smirk.
Spaz had made himself homeless and stopped attending about a year before. But he, on the other hand, is visibly disgusted. Not the kitty whisperer, he complains, and takes the lead in organizing a response. He offers to meet them at Parchee's the next day.
The mass of them relocate over to the adjoining house, Trotter's larger apartment, to solicit his advice. They explain the ordeal, but Spaz assures him,
I'll get to the bottom of this, even if resorting to violence is needed.
Trotter curls his brow.
No.
He utters.
But what do you mean?
Trotter warns him against it.
I mean, that's ridiculous. No.
But his mind is made up. So proceeding with the plan, the group exits. Locking the door behind them.
Dumbass.
All of a sudden, Manny appears standing at the window.
That wasn't very nice.
Trotter jumps back startled.
Bruh. The fuck?
He pulls up the blinds.
Those practices won't yield honor.
How do you know where I live? Hold on. What damn practices?
Spaz. Your treatment of him.
What? Why? He's ridiculous.
Your treatment is ridiculous. I see you try to guide honorably, but it's mean.
Why are you freaking here?
To encourage you to guide in your own way. Just not freaking ridiculous and honorable.
Whatever, man.
As he draws the blinds close, Trotter pulls them to the side and peeps through. But no one's there. So he pulls them up again, as a cougar's tail slips around the bushes.
The fuck?
The following morning, Spaz dresses to appear especially menacing, unlike his self-prescribing colorfully artistic wear. Posturing to seem more punk than he really is. Just before lunch, he and J-Mac walk up to the school and meet the others at the snack bar. Of course they're all unaware, but in his concern, Trotter drives up and parks to watch from a distance. The group waits until the end of lunch, but they never see the sour-minded boys, so they decide to leave and reconvene later. As they part, Dur spots the boys across the street.
There they are.
So Spaz calls them over.
You punch her in the nose Friday?
Yay. Yes, sir.
Sir, wow.
Spaz gloats to himself.
I'm not that old.
And he certainly isn't a sir. Apparently, the menacing look and brazen posturing works. But perhaps too well. Because then, ironically, curiously, one of the young men begins to cry. Everyone is stunned. Then they look to Spaz, as the awkwardness lingers. Finally, his genuine compassion arises, and his authentic person resurfaces. So he stutters in uncertainty. Then shrugs.
Well, then. Tell her you're sorry?
Then the group looks at him even more confused.
The city's most treacherous hood gang is CW Crush. Younger brother to their leader is DL.
DL sees the boy crying, and there's an unusual and rarely seen compassion that rises in him as well. He remembers Spaz from junior high with elder siblings, and is familiar with his unrestrained silly ass throughout the city. And he's sick of it. Now, he and his weirdo freaks are bullying this little surfer dude. So coming to his defense, DL grumbles.
Man, fuck Spaz.
As he consoles the whimpering lad, simultaneously mounting a threat of his own. So, needing to recover face from his last comment, Spaz makes sure that the others are clear, and postures his best Eastwood impersonation. Smoking a cigarette, he takes the last drag. Then, communicating to DL that he can do what he wants, he stares him square in the eye, and flicks the cigarette butt at the Beach Boys.
Then, as a matter of coincidence, divine intervention, or outright karma, the aiming misfires, and the cigarette butt mistakenly hits DL. Right on the tip of his nose.
Well, at that moment, a magical thing happens. An unexpected, unintentional social shifting occurs when the student body movement of the 70s makes its 80s evolution. And there's another racial ethical revolution.
When the spectators add to the fray, elevating it from school fight to school riot. The Beach Boys and the Farm Boys join with CW Crush to form a solid, unified force in the single effort to kick some unspecified punk rock ass.
As they converge on the weirdos, hell breaks loose. Spaz directs Davin to take the girls back to campus, as he commences into a brawl with several crushers. Meanwhile, the original Sour Beach Boys disarm J-Mac of his tennis racket, and smash him in the face. issuing yet another broken nose, by his own racket no less. Further down the street, a cluster of farm boys grab State's little body and toss it high into the air. He lands on his shoulder and fractures it. But like the bulldog he is, he springs right back up and charges into the cluster. More onlookers stop to witness this merging of typically conflicting social factions, while others cheer on the merger. Spaz is taking a pretty brutal pounding, but he delivers quite a few blows of his own. Then, just as he becomes amused with how well he's handling himself, Durrani screeches a terrified warning. She screams from across the street.
He looks just as DL runs up and cracks a brick over his head. It decimates to pieces, and Spaz plummets to the ground.
Trotter witnesses this, pounces from the car, and rushes to assist.
Damn it.
Finally, Spaz comes to a grand social realization. Instead of suffering the blow, his adrenaline pushes the pain into the background. So he has 5 seconds of quiet reflection as time stands still.
Oh, okay, wow. I never knew that in these street fights, some people use more than only their physical selves to fight with, i.e., their fists or wrestling moves, etc., but rather, they allow themselves to implore other mediums to harm you, like an object, like really hard objects, tennis rackets, bricks. Seriously?
He thinks to himself.
He doesn't mind if the brick scars my face, takes out an eye, gives me a lifelong disability, or even kills me. Why, before 60 seconds ago, I had never done anything untoward to him, but he inspired that.
Damn misfired cigarette butt.
This escalation is unreasonable. Now he doesn't care if I die. God, he's trying to kill me. Do I need to fight for my actual life? Dang, now it's personal.
Apparently a bulldog himself, he springs right back up. Then, with a justified level of psychosis, underscored by the lack of self-consciousness, he glares with the most authentic state of survival.
This is insane.
Then there rises in him an unexpected but visceral level of mindless intention to harm the dude. With actual objects this time. Really hard objects. So laser focused on his mark, he growls like a madman, but giggles like a child embarrassed. Charging high speed towards his target. DL takes off running down Princess Street with Spaz in heated pursuit, while the injured J. Mac States come stumbling after.
Then, just as Trotter rushes up to Parchi, warning shots in the air.
Everyone scatters and takes cover as Trotter tucks behind the thrift store and a policeman blares command.
Freeze.
Finally, someone to help protect. This collective gang mob is trying to kill us with hard objects.
So Spaz turns around and comes to explain, but curious to him, the officers are aiming their guns at J. Mac States and himself.
Get down on the ground.
No, but
he turns back around and DL is gone in the wind.
I said get down.
They cock the hammers.
Man.
As he and the boys comply and lie flat.
He looks over to J. Mac, who has a swollen bloody nose, and his usual, humble smirk.
He looks to States, bloody and bruised all over, but snickering with satisfaction. He loves it.
Then Spaz finally sees Trotter in the corner of his eye, safely tucked around the thrift store. When their eyes meet, Spaz is surprised and excited to see him. But Trotter just shakes his head and turns to walk away.
Dumbass.
Later, they discovered they were the only 3 arrested in the ordeal. The weirdo kids. Typical, they think.
Before the officers transport them to downtown booking, they take them out to New Hanover Memorial. The news playing on the television in the waiting room reports 2 breaking headlines. First, George gives them the Doppler forecast.
Severe weather warning. Hurricane Gloria is moving along the coast. Expect heavy rainfall and lightning.
Then Francis lets them know.
Small riot at New Hanover High School, less than an hour ago. Outside of Parchi's, the campus snack bar, an unspecified incident between the students erupted into violence.
Other people in the room are shocked. Looking at the 3 battered boys, they first gape in questioning. It was you, wasn't it? Then shake their heads with disappointment. Dumbass. While the boys are aware, they are likely the only ones to have legal trouble from said small riot. It sparked some punk rock rebel pride. That at least they made the local news.
The emergency room discharges them with a minor head contusion, a nasal fracture, and scapular cleavage. Then authorities transfer them. Down to the precinct, where Dear, her mother, Trotter, and the others from the group are waiting.
But then they learn that another sour-minded youth attacked Devin in the school restroom, something that involves brass knuckles? At any rate, this ends him with a black eye. And the situation becomes grim again.
Dang it.
The processors need to get people in and out, in time to prepare for the impending hurricane. New Hanover County Judicial Courthouse. So prosecutors rush them through their charges and pleas. The judge hears the details in total.
Juror and the other students' incident statements. And character witnesses from Mama Durr and Trotter.
After closing arguments, the moment is intense.
Fortunately, the judge is a reasonable man, and commends them for coming to the aid of a lady. He likens it to that of Sir Walter Raleigh's cape over a puddle for the Queen. An irreverently honourable nobility. But unfortunate for them, he's also a man of the law. So he reminds them that violence is never the answer, and sentences them to many hours of community service. Then he charges Spaz, specifically, with the criminal act of inciting a riot, penalizing several more hours.
Damn misfired cigarette butt.
Though all are in a mood for celebration, it's storming out, and folks need to get home. Exiting the courtroom, Spaz calls to Trotter and jogs to catch up.
How about that? Irreverently honorable, huh?
No. How about just reverence? You know? Just reverently honorable. Right? Or smart and honorable? How about nice and honorable? Just not freaking ridiculous. And honorable.
Trotter turns to walk away.
Dumbass.
Then all of a sudden, Trotter flashes back to the window, where Manny offered the exact advice, word for word.
Just not freaking ridiculous and honorable.
So Trotter stops, learns the lesson, and just before he steps out into the rain, he turns, forces a smile, and winks.
Yeah?
Gotcha.
Then he exits onto the street. Manny is standing outside in the rain. As he passes,
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Can I give you a ride somewhere?
but when he turns around, no one's there, of course.
The fuck?
He snickers to himself,
of course,
as he continues to his car.